Scream!
No one accepted the
Scream, Robinson! First in order!
First in order, sir!
Proper today! You give the proper the other day!
Good morning,
sir! First!
Good morning,
I don't care who you are!
McCarthy!
I'll be right sure! Shut up! Shut up! Bullets!
That's what you said to the friggin' Carmen! Did you? Did you? You told him you did better! You didn't tell the Carmen that! You didn't tell the Carmen that! Did you or didn't you?
Secure told the Carmen
keep whispering too!
feeling better after he started to hydrate.
Why? Why? Yeah. Why were you dehydrated? Why are you dehydrated? Why are you dehydrated?
Here's not us, sir!
I'll tell you why! Because you're not finna goddamn water! Good motherfucker. You did. Good.
All right, sir.
Because I'm gonna get the goddamn training out of your ass!
Right,
you
sir.
owe me that course times 10! You understand that?
Yes, sir.
You better get out of my flight right now. I swear to God, get out of my flight. Y'all are lazy and I'm sick of it. I want my daddy to be proud of me. Y'all are so sick of it. Get out right now. That's all I gotta say.
It's you're dealing with the psyche. You're dealing with brain and people's. You gotta be careful with it.
I can't hear you.
Sorry, a little tired. This weight's moving a little slow. It's 332 for 5 sets of 5. This will actually be a volume PR, I want to say. I don't think I've ever done it. I've done 332 before, yeah, but I've never done it for 5 reps, for 25 reps in a session. So we're shooting for a volume PR in this session. Hopefully we'll get it. So these squats are still feeling pretty rough, but this is a part of training. These are days that you have to accept. You just gotta push through it. What did Sun Tzu say? Something about victory will be kept for those who are willing to pay the price. Something like that. Stephen King kept it really simple. If you wanna play, you gotta pay. So to ease my mind off of this 332 pounds that I have to squat for an additional few sets here, let's take a trip down memory lane during my boot camp days. Ah, yes. But first, let's get another set in. We are just gonna truck along here. What are we talking about? Boot camp memories. Just for the record, I was not a vegan when I was in boot camp. I knew what veganism was to a certain extent. It just never crossed my mind. I was 19 years old. It'd been a long time. Actually, I have a cousin, who she was vegan, or she still is vegan, but she was vegan back then, if I'm not mistaken, as well too. I just never really talked to her, nothing, but I always respected her for going that route. But you know, I just never did it, just like a lot of, you know, the typical American, if you will. Also wanted to note that this was back in 2005 to 06. I went to boot camp in December to March, from December to March. So I was there during Christmas, New Year's, Easter, Super Bowl, all the festivities, you know, the major festivities here in the United States. And let me tell you, that was depressing. So let's get on with the story. So this was back in 2006. I'd been in boot camp for maybe about 3-4 weeks, something like that. I think maybe 4 weeks or so. And there's this thing called Firewatch. If any of you are familiar with Marine Corps boot camp, you have to stand what's called duty, if you will, or Firewatch if you're a recruit. A recruit is someone like me, who joined the Marine Corps, but you have to go through what's called boot camp or recruit training. And if you are able to get past that, you will be awarded with the Marine Corps emblem, the Eagle Globe and Anchor, and you will be a United States Marine. It's something that's not easy to accomplish. It's something I hold very highly and something I'm very proud of that I've done in my life, because it is the base fundamental of what developed me into the person I became, is because of the Marine Corps. So anyways, while you're in boot camp, there's a lot of things you do. And I was on this duty called Firewatch. Now, Firewatch, essentially all you do is you watch the platoon while the squad bay, if you will. The squad bay is where all the Marines, or recruits stay, while they're sleeping. If they're out drilling, if somebody needs to stay back, if they need to go somewhere, they set up 2 recruits on post and they watch the squad bay to make sure everything's in good order. Not like anything, not that I know of, nothing like super bad happens. Not like some terrorist, whatever, dared to go to a Marine Corps base. So anyways, I'm on this thing called Firewatch, and it was at night. The recruits were sleeping, and essentially all you do, you walk around with like this red flashlight, and you walk around the whole squad bay, making sure that like the rifles are all secured. You have these things called foot lockers. They all are secured in the sea bags. There's these big green bags that Marines carry all their stuff in, or a lot of their stuff in. They all have to be secure. And all you're doing essentially is making sure that everything is secured. That's about it. And when someone comes on deck, that being in your squad bay, that be, say, like another drill instructor, a company first sergeant, a company CO, whoever it is, you report your post. You're on duty, so you report your post, and it's like a spiel that goes something like this.
141, all secure. There are 10 recruits on deck and 64 United States M16s, 82 rifles. Service on double locked and safe. There are 64 foot lockers locked and on 0 at this time. The platoon is currently in PT. There is nothing unusual to report at this time, sir!
How can they be a PT? We're the freaking hell! Get the hell! All of it down, man! Look, let the hell! Look, they PT! There you go!
Well, as you see there, that recruit, I keep thinking Marine, but anyways, he probably is a Marine now. I mean, that was a long time ago. But as you can see there, that recruit messed up his post, so he got chewed out, all that stuff. So I'm on Firewatch, and someone came on deck while I was on Firewatch, and this is normal. It was probably like 1 o'clock in the morning, and it happens to be a drill instructor. Now I notice it's a senior drill instructor. It is the senior drill instructor of the platoon that was right above my platoon, if you will. We were on second deck, they were on third deck. That means third floor. And it was our rival platoon because we were in the same series. I'm not gonna get into that. Just know that it was another platoon, another drill instructor, comes down into my squad bay. And so I do everything correctly. I report my post, and so does the other recruit next to me. He reports his post as well too. Everything was done correctly, whatever. And this senior drill instructor, I don't remember his name because he wasn't one of my drill instructors, but he looks at me. He's not looking at the other recruit for some reason, but he's looking at me. And he says something about this gear that I'm wearing. When you're on Firewatch, you have to wear this gear. And he said something that it wasn't like squared away or something like that. And as a recruit, all you can say is, yes, sir, no, sir, or I, sir. And I essentially just acknowledged what he said. I said, I, sir. And he says, this is what we think of, he said something like this, and they all have that raspy voice. And he was like, I guess this is what we think of our senior drill instructor. Like saying, I don't care I don't have any type of respect for my senior drill instructor or my drill instructors because I'm not squared away. And this is a common thing that drill instructors do. They want to see if you break your bearing. He's not doing a bad thing. This is part of Marine Corps training. And I just said, no, sir. And he's like, all right, good, whatever. And he kind of fucks with me. And what he does, he takes my cover is a hat, if you will. He takes my cover off and he throws it on top of a light that's like hanging there. He throws it on top of a light and he leaves. And we're like, okay. And I was just like, all right. I mean, you just kind of stand there and you don't lose what's called your bearing. You just stand there. So the senior drill instructor leaves, and me and the other recruit, we're just like, okay, what the fuck? After that, we get my cover off the light with like a broomstick, and we have this room where we keep all the cleaning supplies. It's called Little Gear in the West Coast. I'm an East Coast Marine, not a West Coast Hollywood Marine for all you West Coast Marines. How's the beautiful weather out there, guys? There's a little bit of a shit talking between East Coast and West Coast Marines. I'm not gonna get into that right now. Anyways, I get into this. We get into what's called Little Gear, and we take out a broom and we get the cover off. Now, Little Gear is typically secured. Now, at night in my squad bay, in my platoon, we would always keep it unlocked because our drill instructor specifically told us to leave it unlocked so that we can clean the squad bay at night while we're doing Firewatch. And that's what we do. We would sweep up and stuff like that. I don't know, like clean the brass. We had like this brass line. We would clean that at night, stuff like that. We'd clean up the squad bay at night. That way we weren't just like walking around. Essentially, we're following basic orders. It's a few minutes go by, and the senior drill instructor from the other platoon 1021, he comes back into the squad bay. Now, here's where things get interesting. So he comes in, we report our posts again, myself and the other recruit, and for some reason, he's just locked in on me. Like, this guy's got a fucking massive hard-on for me, for whatever it is, man. This guy just wanted to fuck with me. I don't know what the problem is. I have an assumption why. I can speculate why. I'm gonna get to that in a second. But nonetheless, he's just looking at me and not the other recruit as we're reporting our posts, reporting Firewatch. We did everything fine, no problem. We're waiting for him to say something, and he looks at me and he goes like, oh, everything's secure? And this recruit says, notice I'm going into like recruit mode here. This is how burned into my fucking psyche this is. And I said, yes, sir, right? You scream everything out loud, I scream out, yes, sir. And he looks at Little Gear, the room where we have all our cleaning supplies, and it's unlocked. And he goes like, I guess this is secure. And he throws the lock out, right? He goes into Little Gear room and starts throwing all the shit out. Everything, all the cleaning supplies. There was like rubbing alcohol in there, laundry detergent, soaps, all sorts of shit. He starts throwing it all outside of Little Gear and fucking making a mess, fucking buckets, all this crap. They're making a giant, all this noise, all this crap. It's 1 o'clock in the morning, by the way. So that senior drill instructor from 1021, he's like screaming and saying all this crap. Oh, the fucking, yeah, we don't give a fuck about our senior drill instructor. This is secured, all this shit. Well, I guess we lack integrity, blah, 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 all this other crap. He's making all this noise. Of course, I have a drill instructor. My platoon has a drill instructor who's on duty that night. And it happened to be this drill instructor that had it out for me as well too. Now he was, again, they're just doing their job. When I say had it out for me, again, he's just doing his job, because when I went into boot camp, I was a nasty shit. I was kind of chubby a little. Like I just got completely out of shape. Usually I've never really been super fat, but I was just completely out of shape. I was in a dark time in my life, just really bad time. And I just went into boot camp like, fuck it, they'll take care of it for me. And little did I fucking know. And I paid the price for it, let me tell you, for fucking going in as a damn shitbag. I'll gladly admit that. Now, the shitbag that I was, it wasn't like I was a super bad recruit or nothing. It was just, I was really bad. I was really out of shape. I was able to do the runs and everything, but I got sick and I had bronchitis and all that stuff. And I think the drill instructors took notice of that. So that one drill instructor, I'll say his name. So no disrespect to him. He's retired already. I've actually already spoken to him on YouTube. I'm gonna show a little clip here of him. His name is drill instructor Sergeant Wells, or he was sergeant back then when he was my drill instructor. And this guy, he happened to be on duty. So he comes out of what's called the senior drill instructor hut. And that's where they stay. The drill instructor on duty stays at night when the recruits are sleeping. He comes out of the hut and just fucking starts going crazy all over the fucking platoon and fucking starts like screaming at me. I don't even remember what he was saying, all this stuff. The other senior drill instructor is still fucking making a mess. And now he's screaming at the other recruit who's on fire watch. Then as drill instructor Sergeant Wells is going off on me and the other recruit, the senior drill instructor leaves Little Gear and then decides to go into the squad base screaming and saying all this other shit while all the other recruits are sleeping. Goes to a sea bag. Mind you, I'm getting fucking chewed out. Like, here's drill instructor Sergeant Wells chewing me out, right? I'm looking at the senior drill instructor go into the squad bay. He unlocks a sea bag. Now, the way he was able to unlock the sea bag is because you keep your code inside of a pocket of that sea bag, which is just a big green duffel bag. I saw him take the code out and unlock it because he was back there. This is how long I was getting chewed out for, like, I don't know, it was like freaking like 3 minutes, just constantly in my ear, and it hurts, by the way. He's like spitting in my face and all this stuff. And the other recruit is getting chewed out as well too. And anyways, the senior drill instructor unlocks that sea bag, a random sea bag, and dumps it all over the middle of the squad bay. Just fucking dumps it. He's like, I guess that's secure too, right? I guess that's fucking secure too. Blah, 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 like going all over the place. Then, it's not over then. Then they decide to get into the laundry detergent. And they open up a couple bottles of laundry detergent and start throwing it all over the middle of the squad bay. And myself and the other recruit are just standing there like, oh, Jesus Christ, man. Like, you just have to stand there like this. Think about it. All this chaos and all this craziness is going on. This is how you just have to stand. And anytime they say anything to you, you have to scream, aye, sir. Or if they ask you a question, yes or no, sir. I mean, it is the most horrible feeling ever. Because you feel like it's your fault. You feel like you've done something wrong. Maybe I did do something wrong. But again, I was just following orders. And I think at that moment, and here's where I get to the point where I was talking about earlier, why I think this happened. I think they had me tagged. I think they were trying to see if I was going to break. Because again, I noticed a lot of the focus was on me for some reason. They both were like screaming at me. For some reason, that senior drill instructor from upstairs had an issue with me. And yeah, so whatever. I think that's what happened. I know these drill instructors, they all talk to each other. When we don't see it, the recruits don't see it. So maybe again, this is all speculation. Maybe drill instructor Sergeant Wells told him, like, hey, come down here and fuck up the squad bay because I want to fuck with this recruit. I want to see if he breaks. We're trying to see if this kid's going to break so we can send his ass back home or whatever. And that's their job. Their job is to weed out the weak ones. And I was borderline weak, but I made it through no problem. I think I was a pretty good recruit. I did well in the rifle range, PFT, first class PFT, the whole nine. Everything was good. I'll get into that PFT. You guys, I don't know. Any Marine watching this would know what a PFT is, but I'm not gonna talk physical fitness test. I'm not gonna talk about the physical fitness test and all that stuff and rifle range and all this other things. So among all this craziness, the drill instructor, my drill instructor. I don't really remember what he said to me. I just remember he was really pissed off and screaming a lot at me, and I felt like a fucking shitbag. And he told me to go wake up my squad leader, and he told the other recruit to wake up the squad leader and the guide. The guide is the guy in charge of the platoon, if you will, the lead recruit. He's not in charge of the platoon, but he's the guy who essentially just gets shit on anytime the platoon does anything bad. The guide usually pays for it. So I made sure not to be that guy when I went to boot camp. Or a squad leader. A squad leader, they're in front of the platoon. They're kind of like the guide. They're kind of in charge of recruits. They got to make sure that they themselves are squared away and that the other recruits are squared away as well too, somehow. So they get a lot of extra incentive training, if you will. We call it ITing or getting quarter decked, or they got a lot more extra attention because they're in a leadership position. So I made sure I was not in that position because I was in no position to lead anyone at that moment in my life. So anyways, I had to wake up my squad leader and I had to tell him, and I was like, dude, the drill instructor told me to wake you up, right? The drill instructor went back in the senior drill instructor hut and he told me to wake him up because he, the guide, and the other squad leader were gonna clean up the whole squad bay, and my drill instructor told me that I had to go hit the rack and go to sleep. That I was gonna rest and someone else would clean up my fucking mess. And let me tell you, I never felt so guilty in my whole life, ever. I felt like such a piece of shit. And I told my squad leader, I was like, dude, I don't even know, man. I don't even know what I did wrong. I asked the other recruit. I reported my fire watch. We did exactly what we were supposed to do. I don't know, man. And he was pissed, of course, because he got woken up and he had to clean all that shit up. I told him all this, by the way, my squad leader. I told him that the next day because he was my rack mate. He slept right under me. We have bunk beds and I was on the top rack. And I told him, I was like, dude, I didn't do anything. I don't know what happened. Maybe I did do something, but they couldn't pick anything else. So they picked at the fucking little gear, and that senior drill instructor decided to fuck everything up, which then set off my drill instructor and decided to fuck up the squad bay and throw shit all over the place. And then they had to pick it up. Again, I felt like such a fucking shitbag. But I noticed from that point on, or it was a few days later, they really didn't fuck with me that much. I mean, they kind of did, but it wasn't anything as extreme as it was that day. That was the worst day for me in boot camp. I'd never been so embarrassed or felt so bad in my life when that senior drill instructor started fucking up my squad bay, and then my drill instructor started fucking it up all as well too, and then blaming it all on me and all this other stuff. I felt like the worst person to ever exist. I wanted to fucking die. I was like, this is horrible. So if you're looking for some type of resolution or something to this story, or some closure, there really wasn't any. It was just, it ended there and that's it. I mean, we just went on with training. You keep pushing forward, and that's about it. Now, I wasn't the only one who had incidents like this. There are probably hundreds, I would say there are probably hundreds of stories like this from each single recruit in my own platoon, where they all had to pay for something that someone else did, or someone. I've got a whole bunch of stories where I had to do stuff because someone else fucked up. Happens all the time. They do that all the time, and they're doing that to mess with your head, to see if you crack, to see if you break, all that stuff, and to also instill a sense of teamwork within the platoon, that there has to be accountability, not only with yourself, but with everyone else in the platoon as well too. That's what I took away from that. So I think I've been talking long enough, and I think this should be a good time to wrap everything up. And just to let you guys know, in the beginning of this video, in regards to the intro where I show boot camp scenes from other branches of service like the Navy and Air Force, just know I don't hate the Navy or the Air Force or the Army or the Coast Guard, and I respect all of them. I consider them all my brothers and sisters, and I appreciate them all for their services. I'm just messing with them, just like they mess with us, the Marines, my Marines, well, former Marines, whatever. You guys know the deal. I'm not, it's nothing against them. It's just me showing the differences in training, and I appreciate all of them. I love all the services that support the United States, that help make the United States the great nation that it is. So it's no beef against them. Which by the way, you can look up those videos yourself. They're all over YouTube, all that stuff. I just felt like it's something to point out because it kind of makes me laugh sometimes. So that's about it. I hope you enjoyed the boot camp story. Please let me know what you guys think in the comment sections down below. If you haven't already, please feel free to like, subscribe, and hit the ding dong button if you haven't already. You guys know who I am. I'm the Natural Hoaxer. I want to thank you for watching, and please stay tuned for the next one.